All right, let's talk about something that millions of us deal with every single day, debt. But we're not just going to talk about it. Today, we're going to lay out a real battle plan to help you conquer it, using some proven tactics from top financial experts. So let's get right into it.
I mean, this quote just nails it, right? Of course not. Nobody likes being in debt. It's that constant weight, that little reminder every month of money you owe. But here's the thing, just acknowledging that feeling, that's the real first step to getting rid of it for good.
And this is probably the most important thing to hear right at the start. If you're dealing with debt, you are so not alone. This is not some unbeatable monster. The good news is, with the right plan for your money and a little bit of focus, paying it all off might be way simpler than you think.
Okay, so every great victory starts with a solid plan, right? Well, your fight against debt is absolutely no different. And the cornerstone of your entire financial success, the foundation for everything we're about to talk about, is your budget. This is where you draw your map. Look, creating a budget isn't about punishing yourself. It's really just about gaining knowledge and taking back control. First, you list out everything coming in. Easy enough. Then you track everything, and I mean everything, going out. Every coffee, every subscription, every single bill. The goal here is awareness. Once you can actually see where your money is going, then you can strategically decide where to pull back and redirect those funds as ammunition against your debt.
Now, a really simple but super powerful way to think about this is the 50-30-20 rule. The idea is that 50% of your income goes to your absolute needs, housing, bills, that kind of stuff. 30% goes to your wants, entertainment, dining out, and that last 20%, that right there becomes your primary weapon. This is the money you'll use for savings and, for our battle plan, to aggressively attack your debt.
So you've gone through your budget, you've found some extra cash to work with. Now what? How do you actually use it to make the biggest impact? Well, that brings us to the two heavyweights, the most famous strategies for crushing debt, the Debt Snowball and the Debt Avalanche. And this is the core question you've got to ask yourself. Seriously, what drives you? Are you the kind of person who's motivated by seeing quick progress, by getting those early victories to keep your morale high? Or are you driven by the pure numbers, the desire to save the absolute most money you possibly can on interest? Your answer is going to determine your weapon of choice.
So, the Debt Snowball. This one is all about psychology. It's about getting those quick wins to keep you in the fight. You list all your debts from the smallest balance to the largest. You pay the minimum on everything, but you throw every single extra dollar you have at that smallest debt until it's just gone. Wiping out that first account, even if it's a tiny one, feels incredible. It's a win, and that momentum, that feeling, is what carries you forward to the next, bigger debt.
Then you've got the Debt Avalanche. This one is for the number crunchers, the pure strategists. With this method, you kind of ignore the balances and focus only on the interest rates. You attack the debt with the highest APR first because, well, that's the one that's costing you the most money over time. From a purely financial standpoint, this method will save you the most in interest payments, period.
And this really highlights that central trade-off, doesn't it? The snowball's quick wins often mean people actually stick with it. The completion rates are higher. The avalanche is mathematically perfect, but it might take more discipline. And hey, remember, you can totally create a hybrid. Maybe you knock out one tiny debt for that quick win, then pivot to the avalanche method to save the most money in the long run.
Okay, choosing your main strategy is step one. But what about calling in some air support? There are other powerful tools you can bring to this fight, so think of these next ideas as reinforcements to help speed up your victory.
Debt consolidation is a huge one. It basically simplifies your life by rolling multiple payments into one and hopefully at a much lower interest rate. A 0% balance transfer card, for instance, can give you a year or two to pay down what you owe without any interest building up. Just a word of caution, be aware of any transfer fees, and you absolutely need a plan to pay off that balance before the intro offer ends. But used right, these tools can be a total game changer.
We've talked strategy, we've talked tactics, we've talked tools. But honestly, none of that matters without the single most important element, your mindset. This is what's going to guarantee you win the long game.
This quote really gets to the core of it. Why is having a written plan so critical? Because it takes emotion out of the equation. When you have a plan that says, every single month I will put X amount of money toward Y debt, you don't have to think about it. You don't get paralyzed by the what-ifs. You just execute the plan.
Seriously, if there is only one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. It does not matter which method is technically better on paper. What matters is which one you will actually follow through on, month after month, without giving up.
Because if you lose motivation and start skipping payments, even the most perfect plan is useless. Consistency is your superpower here. It's everything.
So there you have it. You've got the map, you've got the weapons, and you understand the mindset. The strategies are all laid out for you. The only thing left to do is take that first step. So the question isn't whether you can conquer your debt. The question is, what's the one thing you're going to do today to start your campaign?